Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gift of Gaming podcast. I've gotten my hands on Hollow Knight Silksong, and the boys are playing some new games. It's all here in this episode of the Gift of Gaming podcast. Play the music. All right, it's me, your host, Darren Wade, and today I'm joined by Craig the Critical Nolan and the console-hating, PC-playing, retro-repping, lore-seeking, full-time Canadian himself, Chris Robbins. Gentlemen.
What's going on?
It's good to have you.
Nice to have us back on again.
Yeah.
The second time in like, what, 4 weeks?
I know.
And it was years before that.
Everyone's so busy, and we're the only ones without lives.
You guys are
hey,
repping.
that's true.
As is tradition, what are we playing?
As of a few hours ago, nothing anymore. I just 100%ed and uninstalled Expedition 33. So yeah. It was good.
Because I remember in detail our last conversation, we were arguing. I was saying like Clair Obscur is the type of RPG you would recommend to someone in 2025, and this guy over here being like, "No, it's got to be Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger."
I never shit on it being a recommendation for 2025. I said Chrono Trigger.
Make
was
no
still...
mistake. I am shitting all over Chrono Trigger as a recommendation in 2025.
God, we've had these conversations outside of this fucking.
I just needed to bring it up.
I'm just tired of hearing you just like bitch about somebody's opinion on a game that is one of the fucking best. It's one of the classics.
Not today. Like,
can we like I just said, just drop it, man.
I mean, we could
we're
totally
never going to find fucking common ground on this.
I thought today maybe we would.
No,
since
we wouldn't.
Clair Obscur.
No, Chrono Trigger still fucking slaps, man, and there's nothing going to change my mind about that.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's crazy to think otherwise.
Well, that's not fun.
Yeah.
You're not often you can just come here and shit
Don't
all over
get me
again.
wrong. I think Clair Obscur, as we'll probably fucking get into here, is a straight evolution of that genre of games. It's fucking
on because you didn't your general rule of thumb for video games, Chris, is that you don't buy day one. Do you regret?
I regret this because I shouldn't say I never buy day one. I usually avoid day one, but usually that's for the AAAs unless it's from software. Like I do have my exceptions, and I am often an early access investor in like smaller indie companies, but usually it comes with a smaller price tag.
Yeah,
sure. Just because they are cheaper games. This one was, it was cheaper. Wasn't quite the full like crazy price that we see AAA games going in, but it's complicated because I did just buy Donkey Kong at full price, so I did break my own rule with that one, and then I bought Clair Obscur, which went on sale for I think it was like $10 less.
Yeah.
Clair Obscur is clearly just infinitely fucking better. Like I like Donkey Kong, but I never even finished that. I was just like, yeah, whatever. Clair Obscur just blows it out of the fucking water.
Right?
So,
yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah, so I dropped the ball on not getting this day one, especially with all the discussions that like as it was unraveling, I could have been part of those. And
I had almost more fun with that than the game itself.
Yeah, it's like
I'd say we've more content out of just talking about the game than the game itself.
Like Game of Thrones, every episode, like our buddies.
That's why you can't binge watch that stuff. You gotta do it.
Have the weekend just like sit on things for a while. Yeah, it was very nice
to be able to go. Oh my god, did you see the thing?
We will. Oh no, so this is spoilers. I guess I want to put in maybe Expedition 33 spoilers in here.
Well, are we not going to talk about the game?
Not right this second. Because you're still just asking him while he's playing.
Yeah. Because I'm so curious about your choice at the end of Expedition 33.
Okay. So
outside of the podcast.
No.
I could talk about that alone for hours.
Exactly. Well.
Okay, I'm going to say here.
Make it content for later, though. Like,
let's do it later. You can't do that 5 minutes into a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just put the disclaimer here: is there is going to be because it's still fresh. Like I just beat it last night, so I need to talk about it.
I beat it 2 months ago, but I think about it daily.
I need to talk about it. So disclaimer: we are going to talk about it at some point.
Interesting thing. Luke played through. Yeah, so I'll ask you that question towards the end of the podcast. We'll leave a little spoiler disclaimer when we get into your answer. But what I really loved about the game is that Luke played it on the Xbox Games Pass. I think was what he played Expedition 33 on. But he loved it so much that he was like, I think I might actually go and buy the game to support the studio.
It's definitely one of those,
Which, I'd like to think that I would do those things, but I'd be like, sweet, I got it on Games Pass, blah, blah, I'll play the game. But it is one of those games that he was just, all of us were just talking about.
I'll give it another playthrough, too, especially on PC. There's some mods that changed the game in ways that, I would have
really
preferred
enjoyed.
to see.
Yeah, that's
So-
cool. I understand what he means by that instantly.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I would love to do that too.
Yeah. But speaking of communities coming, like what Luke said,
Yep.
actually buy it to support it. I was actually reading through a Reddit thread on piracy or pirating games or something, and everyone is praising Silksong as something everyone in that community should go out and buy when they can.
Yeah. Well,
Why do people keep saying Silksong? This is Hollow Knight 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, well, it's
Like nobody ever called Hollow Knight something else. Why is
So
this
I-
the Hollow Knight was the name of the game. The name of this game is Silksong,
And-
but
and
it is the second in this.
It's
series.
in the universe, and I reckon it's probably a good PR stunt to sell the game that you still have Hollow Knight in the title. So Hollow Knight Silksong.
That reeks to me of it's going to be worse, and we're not going to get any flack for it. Like, let's call it GTA, freaking, whatever,
Vice City
GTA story instead of GTA 5.
Yeah,
when
not a
and then
mainline.
they get a blanket to be worse.
I think it's better.
Like
than,
every Kingdom
I
Hearts
think
game.
it's better than calling
Yeah.
it Hollow Knight 2. I think the moment you put 2 or 3 in the title,
It'll
it
be
kinda-
reviewed harsher if it's called Hollow Knight 2.
Yeah,
That's
well,
just the way it
that's
works.
the funny thing about the reviews, because I was watching them very, very intently, and they're just rolling in on Steam, and I would say a day or two after it was released, overwhelmingly positive, like across the board. But since then, they've been steadily dropping,
Really?
because apparently this game is just fucking way
Oh,
harder. than
it's
Hollow
re-
Knight,
it's really
and people
hard.
are
So hard,
like,
is it?
losing their
Okay.
mind.
So
yeah.
I've played. I got it 2 days ago, and that's what I've been playing. I'm probably like maybe 3 hours, 4 hours into it tops.
Yeah, you got a good while.
So yeah. So in terms of to really get into it, but I have. It's funny. And I've even seen YouTube thumbnails and people saying the greatest game out there, the greatest indie game ever made, and part of me is like, no. No, it isn't. It's a really fun kind of Metroidvania.
It's a very, very simple formula.
Yes, but I will say is I'm big into the world I'm living in, because I guess to put it into context for people who are maybe is Darren a massive Hollow Knight fan? No, I played Hollow Knight for maybe 4 or 5 hours as well. Never finished it, and that was maybe 2 years ago. So I wasn't on Hollow Knight when it came out. I haven't been on the whole dying to get Silksong, but with all the talk about it, I was like, I should probably get on that. And we kind of said, Craig, as you were saying, to get into as many of these possible Game of the Year contenders as we could. So I said I'd hop in. But one of the things I've got 2 notes on it. One is the gameplay is a lot of fun. It is very difficult, which I quite enjoy. It's not like a super
You take
easy.
a lot of damage or something. That was like
Yeah.
everyone's bad review is just like, why am I taking 2 hearts of damage?
Well,
Everything.
that's
Like,
I don't really mind that. Like the thing about it is I don't know why you give out about that, because when you die you immediately respawn right to the moment before. I can understand now. I think
Then
if you
who cares?
because there's loads of resting seats, and if you lose all of your, it's kind of like Sonic. I think we had all the rings. If you lost all the rings and then died, it's a game over.
Yeah.
With Silksong, if you lose all these kind of beads, once they're gone and you die, you'll be put back to your most recent rest point. But there's loads of rest points. I've never been like, I can't believe I've gone so far back. But one of the things I love about the game that I was playing through, and it was maybe in the first even 20, 30 minutes of it, I walked into this kind of it's all bug based, so you're tiny, and it's in the forest, and it's in the moss, so everything's kind of on a kind of granular scale, I guess. But I was walking through the bottom of the forest, and in the background, the animation of this the platform, the level, just kind of came to life in the background, and it really reminded me of. Did you guys play Earthworm Jim back on the Super Nintendo?
Yeah, that was a hard game.
No, hard game, but I just mean in
that
terms
was hard
of
for the wrong reasons. Though.
Yeah.
Like the platforms,
It's hard
I
because
was-
you
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
tell what was a platform, what was the
Yeah.
background.
and what
It
you
all
could
just looked the same.
what you could hook your head onto, all those kind of things.
Awful.
But I
got
mean
20
to
minutes
say
in, gave
I actually still loved it because I thought it was charming in a weird,
and it's charming,
wonky
and the
90s
whole-
kind of way.
the
But
whole level is alive. I thought, when I played Earthworm Jim, even now when I saw it, we tried to play it recently because I think it was back on. It's on the Super Nintendo list, I think. On
it's
Switch.
tough. It hasn't
It's tough,
aged
but
too well.
it's beautiful and it's alive. The whole background, there's kind of crows flying, there's things on fire in the background. The whole world seems to be alive. And I remember I walked into this moss area in Silksong, and all these kind of bugs kind of shut out of the forestry, and the whole background and the foreground, in front of me, was all alive. And I remember sitting there watching, being like, "Whoa, this is a real blast from." Old 2D platformers I played on the Super Nintendo and that I really, really enjoyed. So I think it's got a real nostalgia vibe. You can tell the guy or the Team Cherry, that creating it, that they've definitely played a lot of these, before they got into making Hollow Knight and things like that. But yeah, I think a game is super charming, hard. But again, people coming out with the greatest indie game I've ever played. I'm like, no, it's just
For me,
another
a 2D
Metroidvania.
Scholar has a very low ceiling. You know, like you can only be so good.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. It looks amazing. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, frame rate's beautiful. The game looks amazing. The moves look great. I love the kind of the like say voice acting. They kind of make noises. These characters,
It's like Banjo-Kazooie, like the
yeah, exactly. But it's all quite charming, you know.
Yeah.
And all those things I'd give a thumbs up for. But I wouldn't rate it down in my few hours of playing for difficulty. But I certainly wouldn't be putting it up there as this is a 10 out of 10.
Don't get me wrong. Like I love those games. I love how it's doing well. Love the price point. I don't think it even if it didn't have the competition it did this year, I don't actually see a side scroller winning like a game of the year. It does seem kind of crazy to me.
And I think as well with Silksong, it's kind of like, I think the hype about it was because we waited so long for it.
Yeah.
And just because we waited long for it doesn't mean the game's automatically Game of the Year worthy. Elden Ring was a different kind of thing because people were dying for Elden Ring, and it was always in the discussion, people waiting for it. It was always in the ether of the video game industry. But Elden Ring came out and people were like, no, this is a fucking amazing Souls game. Silksong's come out.
They're still saying there's been a new Elden Ring every year, and they're still going on about it. Like, you know, that's a never-ending game, it seems.
Yeah. Whereas
Game
Silksong
of
is
the
like
year every year since 2022 somehow. What the hell is going on? Like,
but
could be Night Rain this year, although
But I don't know if Chris, if it's in your ballpark, because we were kind of saying we should pick it up and give it a play and maybe do a bit of review on it prior to the Game Awards.
The thing is, I've never played through the first Hollow Knight, so I'd have to get through that, and I don't think I can do back-to-back Metroidvanias.
I don't think you have to play it. They're not.
Yeah, but I want to.
Oh, okay.
I'd want to, because it is always on my list. It's one of those games I always get distracted. And the other thing is, I do like Metroidvanias, but I get the same kind of, we call it open world fatigue. But I get that with Metroidvanias too, because there is a lot of like backtracking.
Yeah. Like when you see a door you can't open, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, now I got to remember this.
I gotta remember what this is.
Yeah.
Drives me
one of the annoying things was that in a very early game, you're climbing up through the kind of the level design the whole time. You're going up and up and up and up, and there was this kind of hole at some point, and previously I'd been able to jump down kind of holes at the bottom of the screen to bring me down to just new areas, and I was like, oh, I'll just jump down this other one. But it was a straight hole. Like if you could have seen the map on the screen, it was a straight hole all the way to the very start of the game, to where the game picked up from. And I was like, what? No one told me this was gonna happen, you know. Now they were like, it was like 10 minutes maybe to get me back to where I was if I was rushing it, but at the same time I was like, oh, I didn't want this at my start of my playthrough.
The next 10 minutes is not going to be fun.
No, I was just rushing to get back. It was a pity, but listen, I think it looks great. I'm interested to finish it. I think
the other problem I have with those like Metroidvania style games is every time I play them, like I just get the urge to play Dead Cells instead, just because
Dead Cells is great.
Like the best of them, is it?
Yeah, and it, like the way, I mean, it isn't a true Metroidvania.
It's more of a roguelike.
It is a roguelike,
yeah.
but it had like the layout of stages is
like,
kind of Metroidvania-ish.
Metroidvania suits roguelike. If anything, they should all be that way, I think.
Yeah. Just like procedural generated,
Make it more interesting, because it's so obvious that, you know, you're just going from left to right.
Yeah.
You're never not doing that.
But the thing is, Dead Cells makes it fast, and there's teleporters everywhere, so you can go back to any point on the map at any time you want. Pretty easily. So.
But the one thing I will say about Silksong, which is maybe because Dead says I love the gameplay, but I wasn't really sold on what's the point of me doing here. And as you guys know, I'm a bit of a narrative guy.
Same.
The one thing I will say that is in like a pro for Silksong is that I'm quite intrigued about what's going on, because you meet bugs very early on, and they're all about so to put it in perspective, you are captured at the start of this game. You don't know anything about your character. You're captured. You make an escape, and then you just kind of have to find out why you were captured. That's essentially all I know at this stage. But you meet bugs, and they're all about going to the Citadel, like to make the pilgrimage to the Citadel. So there's kind of like a religious lunacy about the whole thing, and I'm quite intrigued by that, because I'm like, all these bugs trying to make this like, you know, this walk to the Citadel where I need to go to find out why they're trying to capture me. So for that reason, it has me hooked in a way that Dead Cells. I love the gameplay of Dead Cells, but I love
the story
rope
of Dead Cells is just like just hobbled together.
It's
there because fuck it, whatever. But it's
but
the
here's
gameplay.
the game.
But like, here's the game.
If Hades didn't have the great story it did, I wouldn't enjoy it in any way.
Yes,
like, I wouldn't give it any
That's
points.
actually a good point, because.
But they trickled out of the story throughout each
Hades
run, and then they built and built, and then you get more and you unlock more. If that was just missing, I would hate Hades. So the difference it makes by just having a bit of talking here and there every few hours, is enough to keep me
That
interested.
is a good point. I wouldn't hate it, because I still think the gameplay is fun, but I definitely wouldn't put it above any others of similar play style.
I think
If
for
it
me,
wasn't for
it
the-
elevates
yeah.
a massive.
I need to know,
amount.
like, I think when I was younger, I could probably have played through games no matter what the story was, good, bad, or indifferent. But I think now I need a hook. I need a reason to be playing this game. Otherwise, I feel like I might be wasting my time a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think with the Silksong
Oh
game,
no, sometimes I just want to. Yeah, sometimes I'm just there for wasting my time. Like I just
Vampire
wanna,
Survivor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes I just need that fucking dopamine fix, right?
yeah.
Just like,
I can get, which is the point of
like
games.
old
Sorry.
school arcades, like fucking asteroids and galaxies.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm not trying to yuck
Wouldn't play
people's
any of
yum. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum. But people who are into that kind of stuff go for it. But for me, from a personal level, if I'm getting into a game like Silksong, the moment I got in, I realized there's bugs trying to go on a pilgrimage. I need to get to the Citadel. I was like, okay, there's something for me. There's a
There's
reason
something
I'm
here
here
for me.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Keep the pull going. That's fair.
But that's my. That's
Darren's
my,
going to invest in an ant farm. He's just like, I need to know what they do.
Yeah. So what's your secret, guys? What's your plan? Craig, I'm gonna ask this question. I have seen what you're playing of recent, but tell
I
us.
put like 100 hours into it. already.
Crazy.
And yet that's nowhere near what your brother's put in. And I'm playing it constantly. I don't know how he's ahead of me.
Andrew has more hours than you
Like,
do.
I have 100 over 2 weeks and he's 150 and I'm like, I've been playing it like all day every day.
Yeah,
How are you doing
He's
this?
a different
and still
beast.
on Helldivers
Yeah.
and still on
He's
all
a
these-
That's the
different
other.
beast.
That's what doesn't make sense to me because he's also putting in, and he probably has No Man's Sky.
Is
in there
he
somewhere
three
too.
people?
Yeah.
I
Like, how does he do it?
I have
Like,
never
he's
understood
just
it. I
the
have never
absolute
understood
video
it.
game man. I can't compete, like, you know. But I'm playing Coral Island in case I didn't make that clear. And it is basically Stardew Valley, but, you know, on an island and a bit more leaning into the ocean. Clearly made by a team of women who absolutely love Stardew Valley. All the men are absolute beefcakes. All the women are very realistic proportionally.
Good.
You know? Some are kind of like a
Fresh
bit
look.
tubby. Some have like birthmarks for where they gave birth and stuff like that. I'm
Oh,
like, oh
jeez.
shit, having this level of detail
Yep.
on the game. You've got all body types on the women's side. On the men, they're all buff as fuck.
Yeah. It's about time we suffered those consequences.
Yeah, yeah.
We've had it the other way for so long. You know?
But like when you're playing, every time the game shows me something that it has that Stardew doesn't, I go, oh, that is so good. You know, just you build a fence, and then as you move towards it, your character just automatically leaps over it, and I'm like, oh man. That is a massive game changer
But
by
this one,
itself.
just
Like in Stardew, like that would drive me crazy.
No, it's
having to
definitely
go
go
open and close the gate
Yeah,
every
yeah.
single time.
How did you come across it? Because before you showed me, when we were down at your house for a Smash Light, before you showed me like the menu and stuff, I'd be like, oh, Darren, this is Coraline, you got to play it. I hadn't heard anything about this game.
It just popped up on my Instagram feed because apparently they'd released a 1.2 update which introduced multiplayer. So I was like, oh, brilliant.
So it's been out for a while.
The game came out 2 years ago, but I mean, they've been slowly updated, you know, like with
Yeah,
Stardew.
yeah.
And each
All
patch
of this
was a
sounds
massive.
crazy to me. You're playing a 2-year-old game, which is already wild to me, and it's also like a farming sim, which you've always hated on. And like
But I
when we
love
watch the
Stardew.
directs,
Yeah, you
I
love
absolutely
Stardew.
I
love
know,
Stardew.
but like you know how we watch like Nintendo Direct, we
Yeah,
always
yeah.
fucking complain about.
But every
how many
Harvest
farming.
Moon game I see on a Nintendo Direct look fucking atrocious.
They look
you know?
dreadful,
This
yeah.
game is made with love and care, and the detail. Like you go into a house, and every like picture is pictures of the people who live there, and there's like say they're into hockey, there's a hockey stick. You know, like every
Yeah,
house
okay,
is
all right.
tailor made to
Playing
the
on my
person who's
heartstrings
lived.
here.
I know, but like,
Hockey.
but, you know, when you walk into anyone's house, you can tell immediately who lives there based on what's in. Like, there's so many assets. It's not just bookcase, TV.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like, there's
yeah,
just there's hundreds of little things. I'm like, that is incredible. You know, I can't believe they have that. And then when you're like going to like update your farm, you go to the furniture store and you're like, oh my god, all this new stock that's just come in. You know, it's like, oh, Monday we've got new stock in. I'm like, I can't believe how much there is. It's so exciting. I can't wait to go on Tuesday and see what's there. Like, there's a lot of real life excitement.
And is it the exact same as Stardew? Like you have a
Exact
timer
same,
for the game
but
format?
another quality of life changes. Do you know the way the timer could be a bit annoying? You're like, oh crap, I want to get to the mines, but I have no
Fucking
time.
try, yeah.
I can go into the menu and set the time of day for whatever I want. So I can have the day takes 20 minutes to complete, or it takes 40 minutes to complete. So I get longer in my day. Like, do you know the way when you're playing multiplayer, like it's a nightmare because you can't pause the game.
Yeah.
Because someone is moving.
So you have to
around.
be
So
like
you can slow the
acing your
game
day.
down.
Yeah.
yeah. So you're not absolutely on the clock. So I slowed the game down to about 80%, and I was like, the day is now perfect for what I want. Like, I just had that little bit of extra time in the day to just visit an NPC or two, and it just makes a massive difference. Whereas if it was running at 100%, I'd be like, I'd be a bit more stressed.
About
The fact that I can change that, I'm like, I'm just removing the stress so I can just enjoy myself, you know? Like, I could go into the mine and be like, oh crap, I want to get 10 floors deep. Adjust the settings. Day is longer. You know, instantly. And I'm like, oh, that's just such a great quality of life upgrade.
Yeah.
Like, not only that, like, say I'm planting a crops and I'm like, oh, I want to put more seeds down. I can press a button and it instantly just hovers and tells me what's the crop in the ground and when it'll be ready. Just with the touch of a button, you know?
That's nice.
That is brilliant.
That's nice.
I can check the map, and every NPC is visible on the map at all times. And I can hover over their name, and it pinpoints where they are.
And I kind of do wish having to know the MP. Like,
yes, I know, but when there's twice the population of Stardew,
is there? Yeah,
and the map
so
is
that
much
makes
bigger,
sense.
and you unlock more areas as you. I'm 100 hours into the game, and I've just unlocked the fucking mermaid village in the fucking depths of the ocean. I didn't know that was there, and because I knew nothing about the game, it's amazing to like see all these new revelations.
Yeah.
I unlocked like a savannah location now. I can like wander for hours. I'm like, I can't believe like it keeps going, you know?
Yeah.
And like the way they trickle new content constantly, the way Stardew maybe did over say 6 or 7 years. Like remember they're on 1.6 or whatever now.
Yeah.
This game feels like it's at 1.6
already.
You know,
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
So you're getting so much content.
I'm
right
gonna have a
out
look.
the gate.
I'm gonna have a look at the team because I don't know anything about this. So I just want to
Like
see.
the characters wear different costumes in different seasons. Even at Halloween, they all dress up in Halloween
So that-
costumes. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, that's just such great.
It's nice.
touches.
This is all stuff that I am kind of used to with Stardew, though, just because
You've all the mods,
modded
but I don't
shit
have
out
any
it.
of that.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
so-
oh man, this is
yeah,
me. This
yeah.
is built for me. You know, like anyone can be gay or anyone can be straight. I don't know if I agree with that because I'm like, well, you can't change who people are just because you were certain.
Because that was in certain games you only had certain characters that you could
Yeah,
choose.
I prefer
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
of them
Cyberpunk
could
was
be
like that,
either,
yeah.
but it doesn't make any sense that everyone is either straight or gay depending on whatever the fuck you want.
So this is developed by Coral
Stardew
Island.
was like that, though.
Or-
You could romance anyone. Yeah.
This is
Maybe
developed
not.
by Stairway Games, and they have, at the minute, according to their LinkedIn profile, 127 employees. Which, in fairness, I guess that's a lot easier if you got 127 people instead of one.
Yeah, I know, but if if Stardew came out at 20 quid and this is 20 quid, it's still that's the same. I can't go, oh well, this is
So
this
it's
is
only
obviously
one
a much
person?
better game.
Yeah,
Yeah, one person.
yeah.
I better cut him some slack. No. You charge the same, you get the same review. You know, and I love Stardew. Don't get me wrong, but this is a better
massive step
I
up.
mean, and in
Yeah.
fairness, like Stardew did pave the way for some of these.
Well, Harvest Moon paved the way for Stardew.
That's
Yeah.
true. Very true.
Harvest, it's a pity because Harvest was my first ever. I can't remember
loved
which
it
one.
when it came out, but
Yeah.
now if I
It's
went
the
back,
same.
Harvest Moon, because of Stardew, Harvest Moon is now a shit game.
Yeah.
Like it was great until Stardew came out, but now the bar went up times 3.
Yeah.
So now your game is shit. And you had a lot more people. So
Yeah,
you've no
yeah.
excuse. I know when someone's phoning it in and you've made 12 of these and he's made 1, you know? Like that's bullshit right there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and you've made a fucking $1 billion. and he's
What's
fucking-
the Stardew guy? Something fish was it?
Concerned ape.
Concerned
Concerned
Ape.
Ape,
Sorry,
yeah,
not
yeah.
some fish. Yeah, Concerned Ape. He is, I'd say, raking it in from Stardew still because I still see that coming up on. It was only released at the PlayStation monthly
He's
game.
working
this
on a
month.
new game now.
Yeah,
Concerned Ape.
like the haunted chocolatier or something.
Yes, that's the one. That looks
okay.
really good.
I don't know if it's haunted. It's something about a chocolate.
It's something about
factory.
chocolatier.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'm playing Coral Island. I'm 100 hours in. It's still going. There's still loads to do. I'm having an absolute blast with it. And there's so much money to be made and furniture to be bought and the house upgrades to get and different like there's so many. There's like 12 animals more than like
Stardew.
the thing. Stardew stopped the pig because this has got fucking lemurs and fucking all sorts of crazy critters that I'd be like, why would you be
Have
raising
this-
a bear at your farm? This doesn't make any sense.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd have
Yeah.
a bear farm.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know
I'd
if
have
you
a bear farm.
It's just
A
like,
couple of
and
bears.
but all the animals
Rescue
are so
centre.
well detailed and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's not just a cow that like moves.
Well, it
left and right.
was-
Like they'll moo and they'll eat grass. You know, like
Initially,
lot
when
of
when
animations.
you first showed me the game and the menu and stuff like that, I loved the art style, but I wasn't a big fan of, let's say, the graphic style because it reminded me of, let's say, the Pal World kind of graphics in the in-game when you're running around. I was like, oh, I don't know.
it's
about
not
this.
treat like it is
It's-
top down.
Yes,
which is essential.
but when
for
I
these
saw
games, I
you
think.
play it a little bit more, I was like, no, actually, no, this is quite cute. I could get into this now. I think actually, yeah.
If it was
don't know if
third
it's-
person, I'd have hated it. Like
Yeah.
for me, it has to be top down. Like it's that style, it's that look. That
I like
feel.
farming in Valheim, and that's definitely not top down. Like I thought it was janky.
I didn't even
You
realize
just
Valheim
see
had
the
farming.
flaws with
Yeah.
the games far more when it's 3D. and
Yeah,
you're
well,
staring at the
yeah.
space.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
when
That
it's
is
top
true.
Down, it's much nicer. But the
That
game
is
looks
true.
gorgeous, and each season is so differently detailed.
Music, how's the music?
Music is exceptional, and it changes throughout the time of the day. Like there's not just one song per season.
Yeah.
And as you're walking from location to location, it'll shift. You know. But not only that, say a festival's coming up in 3 days, like the town will put up decorations in advance. So that you can tell that there's a festival coming because like a lot of
I like that.
decorations went up or something happened at the beach, and you're just like, That's cool. Like it
really
feels
is
lived
just,
in.
Yeah,
like,
just really like.
I could play it forever. It's one of those games where if they just update it, I would
just
play
keep
it
going.
forever. Like,
It's like Stardew on steroids. Yeah, I can get behind that. Another one I was telling you guys about it. That has a bit of charm, and I finished the demo, but I think I will probably get the game. Is what's it called? Discountly. It's just a tiny little indie game. I think it's called Discountly. But you run a shop. It's just a shop simulator.
Oh, it's another one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like a nice.
Did you ever get the what was the big one for a while? The TCG simulator.
Trading card game. No, I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't. But there was a big rush on like because I think even Video Game Donkey did somewhere here. Like he ran just like a normal. I think it was a video game shop, so you were selling video games. But it was funny to watch him play it. But I wouldn't enjoy a game like that. It was funny to watch him play because he's funny when he plays these games and his commentary is great. But this one's nice. It's pixel art, so it's kind of like I would say bigger in style than Stardew. You know, Stardew is very kind of everything's quite small in Stardew, but this is like bigger characters, bigger landscapes. But it's basically you just have a store, you buy shelves and coolers, you get a delivery van. There's just 3 sections. You just have your shop, then the next part behind the shop is your storage area, and the next part behind that is just the office. And you get delivery into the storage area, and you just have to like store things, put them out into the shop, stock them when it's empty, and then when people come along, you just have to charge them the right amount of money. And I'm like, I don't know why this is so addictive, right? I'm just like, I really enjoyed it because I see those games. Like, I don't know if that's for me, but this one, I was like, Jesus, this is actually great. I think I can play a lot more of this.
I mean, I'm not gonna shit on it too because I'll play like a cooking simulator or something like that, which is essentially the exact same thing, some mundane real job.
But it reminds me, it's like
or Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah.
Like that shit is so good.
Do you want? Here's your chore simulator. Yeah. It's the weird thing about it is it's like, you know, when you were a kid and you had those like those cooking things, you'd have a fake shop. You know, you'd have like a little till.
Oh yeah, I had the McDonald's one.
Yeah. You type a little till thing, you had fake money and these like just ingredients and stuff that you could put on, and someone could come along with a tiny little shopping trolley, and you put them all through the till. It's like the adult version of that. Like for someone to play video games of that right now, I feel like I'm reliving that from my childhood days. It's
Have you heard of Schedule 1?
No.
It's a simulator, but you're starting a drug empire. Like you start out in a motel room, like you're just like growing dope.
But see, I think that one's
go
probably,
around with your skateboard delivering it. It's fucking hilarious.
But I think that one's probably quite, because that's a life I'll never lead. You know, I could potentially live a life where I open a store, but the drug one's like I could probably get behind that because that is the fantasy. I'm never going to do that. You know,
we all love Breaking Bad. So
yeah.
It's
fun, isn't it? And other news, just before you guys came up, I watched. I don't know if you saw the most recent PlayStation State of Play, but it was just a.
That one?
James Bond was last week, it was just James Bond First Light, you know, the new James Bond that's being done by IO Interactive.
Okay, so YouTube's been trying to get me to watch more videos on First Light. It must be because they just released.
They just did the State of Play, and I watched it, but it's IO Interactive, so Hitman. It's a James Bond game done by the Hitman guys, and I watched it, and hats off to them. It's not out for 6 months, but hats off to them for releasing what they did, because the initial part of the State of Play is them doing the first mission essentially. Performance is rough on that game. I was watching being like, oh, it's brave to put now they've 6 months to fix it, so at least they're being honest, be like, here's the game in its current state, whatever. But I was watching,
you don't
being
get a lot done in 6 months.
Oh well, I mean,
no, not a company like that.
No,
so many bureaucratic red tape.
Yeah. So the car is driving through a forest on its way to its location. You're a nice Jag, you know, driving along. James is talking to some other characters who we don't know yet, and he's driving through the forest. But like you can tell the car is stuttering sometimes, and the shadows of the trees are struggling sometimes. And I was watching this being like, Jesus Christ, why would you put this out? Like, but it is just a Hitman game with like a little lick of Uncharted on there in terms of how it runs.
That sounds terrible.
You wouldn't? Did you ever play Hitman games, Craig, at all?
No,
Weren't for you?
They're not for me. Like I don't like how the corridor, like, do you know, like those type of games I always find, like especially Tomb Raider and Hitman, like when you're in the interior locations or you're going through doorways, it looks janky as hell to me. You need to be always out in the open, otherwise the game
just doesn't
terrible.
fit. Yeah.
When your character's trying to maneuver through a doorway, I'm always like, no, it looks so shit.
There was so much with this that I really struggle with, because the first mission is like he's trying to get into this building. He's not meant to, because he's not a 00. The whole point of this game is him trying to get his 00 status, I guess, because he's just a normal agent. And he's told you're to watch the car, James. And in classic Bond fashion, he's like, I'm going to figure out what's going on here. So he marches into the building. But your whole initial thing is just trying to find a way into the building. But it's crazy in terms of like, so Hitman's Hitman, it's wild, you do wild things, it's all quite funny how you can go about it. But James Bond's meant to be a bit more like action hero, but maybe a bit more realistic.
Everyone's just chasing. GoldenEye was good, and everyone just won't let it go. I wish they just would let it go.
Man,
like, you know, that was a fluke. Like, you know, like that had nothing really to do with GoldenEye, the movie. Like, Rare just made a great game. It just so happened to be Bond. Yeah. But it wasn't really a Bond game.
No,
like,
just
you
the
know?
skin.
It also, like, it shouldn't have been good, man. Playing it is, even with modern controls, it feels rough.
Oh, GoldenEye now.
Because it was built for the N64 with like strafing in mind. Like, you know? Like, it wasn't meant to be a first person like dual clickety.
Like, how did we do it with like C buttons? Like,
because you used to just like and when you in GoldenEye in particular, you move faster when you strafe. Like, so if you run straight,
but like, how were we like?
Because you're just. It's just left and right with the. You never aimed up or down. You always hit people in the chest. There were no headshots. That wasn't a thing.
And it was an auto lock as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. The game would just auto lock to them, and there's no recoil on anything. So like you would just annihilate everything you fired at.
But the first opening thing that I really struggled with in terms of the realism here, and I know they're going for a bit of Uncharted in terms of some of the stuff that I saw later on the State of Play. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's exciting. It's action movie. But you're trying to get into this house, and the security guards are like, no, sorry, no pass. You can't get in. It's like, okay, what'll I do? Oh, there's an open window. I need to find a way to get up there. So you have to get a lighter off a guy and set some dry leaves on fire so people are distracted. And then you just climb the front of the building. But there's loads of people around. I'm like, someone's definitely seen this guy climbing this building and hopping into a window. So there's so many bits in it that I was like, oh, God, I just don't know. And it's way more... Hitman is meant to be stealth. Stealth is the main way you play it. If you play full action and go in all guns blazing, the game comes across as janky. You could have like... I think we've got like 30 bodies lined up in a corridor. It gets a bit wild. But this one has like big action sequences, but you can tell that IO Interactive, who've made Hitman, aren't fully there for action bits. I was watching it and I was like, doesn't...
Also, James Bond isn't really like a stealth guy. He is sly. Like,
yeah.
It should have some of that like LA Noir stuff, like trying to talk to people.
So he does have that. So there's a couple of scenes where you can try to blag your way through. So he's got a bit of charisma, and I like that kind of side of things because it's not just a hitman. That's an interesting
take for James Bond. So, that makes sense.
And some people you can convince, and some people you can't. I don't know how you can tell, but that was another aspect to it, that you come along being like, I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. We need to go. And the guys are like, oh, okay, I'll go find them, sir. You know, you kind of blag your way in. But it made me think, because I was like, IO Interactive to me made sense for a James Bond game in terms of going in and trying to stealth your way into a place and complete a mission. But Craig or Chris, what would be your top of the noggin, one of your favorite movies or, you know, franchise movies of all time? If you had to pick.
Probably Snatcher, Fight Club, but like I don't see them being adapted well into a game.
No, but let's say, okay, so this is a great one. So let's say Fight Club, right? You have Fight Club as your movie. What video game company would you love to make Fight Club? Like in terms of like a good beat 'em up game that's out there, you know, if you could pick anybody to make a Fight Club game.
Guys made Schedule 1, I guess. it's fresh in my mind, and like it'd be a bit of a simulator. You're trying to get like minions and have like a underground fight club. I don't know. Like, I mean, how would that game even play though? Like
Yeah, because that's a tricky one. Do you have anything on your mind, Craig, or will I go ahead with my idea?
with the movie type thing? Well, for me, like it's got to be the Studio Ghibli movies. And I don't know, they did Nino Cooney and Wrath of the White Witch, but that was made by people who don't know how to make video games.
Some guy,
that's shit. I don't care how people goes, oh, Nino Cooney's great. It wasn't. It was a train.
I've always had an idea for.
Let me say my piece though first.
Okay, sorry.
So I would base mine on Hell's Moving Castle in particular, because I think that's the best world of the Studio Ghibli movies. Because you know you have like the moving castle, and he's able to do it the doorway where he switches between realms and he goes to all these different countries.
Which would be a great mechanic.
Great mechanic, plus a great fast travel mechanic. But they're all at war with each other. So, and there's this world where all the different mages are summoned to compete in this war, and they all get turned by this woman Solomon to like fight for the king. So I just think if you were playing as Hell or just any mage within that world, you would be summoned to war, and you're like, I don't want to do that, but then you're being chased by the villains. I just think it lends itself visually and in terms of narrative to a very good RPG style game. And you could get either Square to do it, but I'd rather them not, because I think they're just too much of that genre.
Yeah.
If we could get the Clair Obscur guys in there,
yeah.
If they were creatively enough invested in to do a game like that. But whoever made Ni no Kuni, they can fuck off. That's rubbish.
It had nice Studio Ghibli cutscenes.
It had nice cutscenes,
but that
no,
was it.
That's it. That's and I don't like the cutscenes are good, but we need gameplay.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the type of game that you could really rant behind.
So
Okay.
I think an even better game would be Spirited Away, and you're just running
The bathhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
That
also
would be
like
amazing.
just the sim. Yeah.
Just
That'd be a
made by
great
the guys
indie
Coral
game,
Island.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, it would lend itself more to the 20, 30 euro thing.
Got to go
All these
down and
spirits
help buddy shovel the coal, or you got to like scrub the.
But, okay,
thing.
so my question
maybe
would
even
be
the odd fight against like an evil fucking yokai.
Spirit
You have
coming
to
in.
beat them with the broom. Just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
out of the
exactly.
room. Like they
That would
won't
be
leave.
dope,
It's a
actually.
no-face. He turns into a monster and is like, get the fuck out of here.
So which indie game, kind of indie sim game developer would you love to see make a Spirited Away game like that?
I
Run the
mean,
Bathhouse.
Craig talked pretty well about the Coral Island guys.
Stairway, what are they called again?
Concerned 8, obviously. I mean, he knows that kind of genre. But I would like it to be more cartoony in a sense, and have almost like better relationship building too, and like.
See, that was because if I was verging on 2, and my second one was in that same kind of similar vein. I was going to go with the Harry Potter, because I think Hogwarts Legacy is a train wreck. I absolutely think that's an atrocious game. I would have got Atlas in to make that game, and I would have done the year-long calendar system where you're in a house and you compete daily with the other houses through spells, through competitions, through Quidditch.
And the older Harry Potter games had a bit more of that vibe. Do you remember the ones on the PlayStation? I mean, they're old games, but you went into classes, and if you did well with your spells, you got points for your
I only
house.
played the PS1 game, which people loved, but I mean,
no, it's hard to look
it
on
was
now.
like a
but
5-hour game.
but at the time, it was quite good. But that had a bit more of that vibe where you're like fighting for your house points more so than the Harry Potter
But
story.
I think we need to going forward do that kind of time system a bit more, because when you have NPCs on a schedule, it makes them just so much more real. It brings them to life if they're not just standing there with a line of dialogue and then that's it.
Yeah.
You know, if they get more involved, if they go places and come back, you just feel like they're alive, and it makes the game far more immersive.
You know what? Actually, you guys were talking about Harry Potter there, and it got me thinking of another idea I've had for a mashup. Whereas, you know, the Hogwarts Legacy you guys played. I know you didn't talk highly of it, but I like the idea of it. I like the setting. You're in the school. I want them to make a game like that, but for the King Killer Chronicles. Is that Name of the Wind and all that?
Oh, sorry. Yes, the book series. Yeah.
And it would just revolve around him, like, you know, up and coming through the school, and
That was, I mean, because him is the I can't remember what the name of the school was, but the mage's school essentially, or that would be quite cool. But like, I mean, we have like you've got
that's like one stop on his journey, but like you wouldn't.
Well,
necessarily have.
I mean, who knows now? Like,
Yeah.
is that guy ever going to finish it?
Yeah. But that would be quite cool. Yeah. The one I was thinking of myself is I love. It's probably up there as one of my favorite movies, but Troy would be up there as one of my.
I love Troy.
Yeah,
great
movie.
Yeah.
But I'd love to have it in the style of it'd be a mix of two things. I'd love to have it in the style of like kind of Age of Empires, where you're setting up the defenses and trying to save cities or attack certain areas. But you'd have all these heroes that exist, Achilles and all.
So
them.
it wouldn't. It'd just be set in that time period. It wouldn't be that necessarily that one battle.
No,
game.
I guess maybe not the one. I mean, but if we had to
Just
do
want
the movie,
multiple campaigns.
yes,
type
exactly,
thing.
yeah. But I'd love the idea of that you could zoom in to certain, because you know those battles you'll always have like the heroes who are fighting for it, and you'd have this group of heroes. But you could zoom in and then take control, and it would be. Did you guys ever play For Honor? By any
Yeah,
chance?
I played tons of For Honor.
Like
what you're describing is nothing like For Honor.
No. But that 1v1 almost where you had like.
Are you trying to mash two entirely different combat systems together? That'd be fuck. That is a pipe dream, man. That is crazy. That is crazy.
But you know
that'd be so hard.
Yeah. But
Like
this
it's
is the thing.
RTS up top, and then you zoom in.
And then you zoom in, and
Oh.
it's
That's
a
very
1v1.
hard to pull off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it'd be really cool that if you were like, oh, I'm losing the battle here, but if I can get my hero to win, and
That's
we can
similar
push.
To Fire Emblem kind of does that. You know, it's top down, and then you go in, and then it's a bit of a
It
battle.
is, but
in
Fire
there.
Emblem is more of the the character fights. Every
Although
character in
not
Fire
in
Emblem is a
the- not
hero.
in Three Houses. You
Actually-
had the battalions. Remember?
Yeah, but the battalions aren't exactly the
They're
same
just in the
scale.
background.
Yeah. It's nothing like the scale of like Age of Empires or any of those kind of like Zeus or any of those kind of games. You had massive armies.
It's going to look wonky, and it is a goofy game, but look into Total Accurate Battle Simulator.
Total accurate battle.
Not right
simulator.
this second.
But it's essentially what you just described.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
there
it's
you
like
go.
crazy like ragdoll physics, and they're like running around trying to like fire their arrows, and then you can take control of them. And actually,
Yeah, I see it there now. Yeah.
but you can take control of all the individual units.
But I'd love to, again, you're right, it is a pipe dream, but that idea, because For Honor, I don't know if you ever played it, Craig, but you could pick kind of like heroes of all sorts of eras. So you could play as a samurai, you could play as a medieval knight, you could play as all those
Cool.
kind of things. And it would be... it'd have
one
a
of the
team-
greatest one-on-one combat systems I've ever played.
And the
in a game.
teams were generally, it was 5v5, was it, in For Honor? I can't
Oh,
remember.
there's all sorts
Oh,
of
is
shit.
this more of a like League of Legends type thing?
No. It would be more like, because it's first person,
Okay.
but it's first person like sword play, but like parrying.
It's so hard to do
dodging.
first person sword
Yeah.
play. Wow.
And I wouldn't
It's-
do it
it's-
first. No, you could do a third person as well in For Honor. You could be behind the character, fighting your thing. But I'd love to have that where if the combat thing was
Maybe it
robust
was
enough,
third person. I can't really.
I think
remember
For
now.
Honor was third person.
Yeah, okay.
But I love that you could jump in and you could be like, I could be fucking Achilles, with my sword and shield having a deadly fight with Hector. Do you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
relive that thing just in the video game. But if that stuff was good and if you won, it would give a boost and you zoom back out and you start planning the rest of your fight, but they're able to take over the hero fights. It'd be,
Cool.
Listen,
that's
man,
a lot. That's a lot.
yeah.
If we're remaking the Troy movie, like the Brad Pitt movie,
Yeah.
as a video game, you are Brad Pitt, and it's God of War, like old school God of War style, where you're just like fucking killing everything, or Dynasty Warriors. Where you're
Yeah.
just, Wah!
Yeah, well, I mean, no,
killing
I-
everything.
I'd prefer the more like I say God of War, like Santa Monica Studios. I'm not saying it's realistic, but it's far more realistic than Dynasty Warriors because you go and you kill like 500-600 people in
Yeah,
a battle, which is so
hate those. When I see it, it just reminds me of Matrix Reloaded, the Agent Smith battle. Do you know where everything looks shit?
Yeah.
Because you just see one NPC
At the
with
time, it
painted 100 times on
at
everyone
the
else. I'm like,
time-
I hate that.
I don't know, on an old school CRT TV, like
You can ignore it.
I didn't notice.
And if I was
But
12,
like Fire Emblem Warriors and all this,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
Hyrule Warriors, I'm like, it looks so shit.
They're milking, and the worst part of the Warriors is because they keep slapping names on it, and just fuck off.
It's a
Like,
pity
Don't
as
try
well.
to sell me a Zelda game and give me this slap.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like that, doing a Troy movie and getting Santa Monica Studios to do it like God of War guys would be pretty sweet. Like that'd be quite good. Any games you gentlemen are excited to play, or will we jump into Expedition 33 spoilers?
Would we even have time? I would have thought you'd be pushing us along.
No, we're kind of at the 3/4 of the hour mark at the minute, so we could.
Okay, we're only going to get like 10 minutes to talk about Claire Obscure.
Yeah,
no,
that's
we got to
fine.
push this back. That's
Okay.
bullshit.
No. Sorry, yeah, we can go. We got Claire Obscure. All right, Expedition 33.
It's not
Chris.
time there.
We've already done the episode on it. We can't. We
I know,
can't.
but,
We
like,
can't do
it's
half
up
an
to
hour.
him.
I just really want to know.
I mean, it'll
what
come
Chris
up
did.
over and over
Yeah.
again all the time, especially when we're like inevitably going to be talking about the Game Awards. And this
Yeah.
is a clean sweep. Like it's got music, it's got art direction, it's probably
It
got
should
gaudy.
win lots.
Yeah, it's got debut, and
Uh,
they are
voice
independent.
acting,
right?
voice acting as well. Yeah.
Voice
Yeah,
acting.
I played it in French, and that shit slapped, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, Luke. On Luke's recommendation, he played it all in
It's-
French as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think
I don't think it's
some
necessary
no, definitely
because
not.
they put a
And-
lot of effort into the
Yeah, and you had like
localization.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah,
like,
you'd Andy Serkis, you'd fucking Charlie Cox, like you'd
Yeah,
Ben
exactly.
Starr, like the hottest name in video games right
yeah.
now.
So I mean, and I think it was actually intended like it was synced to English.
It was.
actually.
Yeah. Which I feel sorry for the French studio. That's the decision that they made.
Well, you
Well,
know-
surely 90% of the game's sales are not
In
are
France.
outside
Yes,
France.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like
You know,
Japan. When
for
you
sure.
add it all together, it's like when you have to take that
It's
into
a
account.
sensible business
Yeah,
decision.
they
It's
they
fair.
went hard with the French, but yeah, like I said, and they are independent studio too, right? So it's if that's the case, it is
Independent
indie
studio. Well, it's a double, a really strong double A. I mean, I almost say triple A.
Yeah. But I mean, they got
No,
they
no,
outsourced a
triple-
lot. Like, there's a lot of people working
You
on it. It
can
wasn't
still
just a
make
small
triple
studio.
A and still be indie. Like Baldur's Gate, like Larian Studios is an independent company,
So it's Sandfall Interactive for the guys that did it.
and did they publish it?
Published by
Just go to Steam; it'll tell you both
uh,
right away. It's-
I should go. Okay, go to Steam. Expedition 33 Steam.
50 quid price point. For me, that elevated it
yeah,
beyond
crazy.
anything else because it's like, well, you charge less, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
review it now like it's a Switch game, and they don't look as good, which means yours look better.
I don't mind it not looking as good, although like this one looked gorgeous. It was good to look at.
But I
Although
constantly
some
expected
of
it to look worse because of the price point. I was like,
yeah, some of it almost looked too good because like I do have some issues with it, mainly
Oh,
Some
the
hard time outside.
Like a seagull, I think.
the screaming kids are on our end, in case anybody's wondering out the window. Sorry, it was published by Kepler Interactive.
Oh, okay, so not independent.
Not independent, yeah.
It had some janky ass platforming, and
I enjoyed those small bits because they were only ever used to just grab a Pictos or something.
But even like when I was, did you do the
minigames?
the gestural arena.
Yeah, I only fell twice, so I was very, very lucky.
Yeah,
you know?
but like even like running around the world, sometimes he would just like get stuck on her it looked like a stone on the ground.
Yeah, that would happen now.
But I do appreciate, because the platforming side of things, the climbing up things, wasn't their priority. Yeah. And what I like about that was they were like, hey, we want to do some mini games.
They weirdly leaned into it.
And I respect
those are
that.
very, very small. They're so optional, and all you get is a swimsuit. It's like just a bonus thing.
I know. But
like most people, I say 90% of people wouldn't have done them. They would just gave up.
I wish they just
it's only the platinum bitches like yourself who like, insist on doing that type of shit. Like, you know, it was punishing yourselves.
But no, it wasn't even like the actual platforming. It was just like I said, you just get stuck on like a, I don't know, little mountain.
Little ledge, yeah. And those little things are what made, brought me back to be like, oh shit, yeah, this is like a AA studio that's kind of created this unbelievable masterpiece. My question, we're going directly into spoilers now for the end of Expedition 33. So if you don't want to know anything about that, switch off now.
To it. You're just going straight to the end. You're going to ignore the entirety of the game.
We've discussed
not
the
with
entire.
Him. Not with him. Well, nobody thinks.
I mean, what do
you think of the Act 1 finale?
Oh fuck. Okay, so
you're gonna skip that? That's outrageous.
First of all, I always knew there was 3 characters. I only ever thought there was only ever going to be 3 characters. I didn't realize that you'd end up with like Ciel and
Monoko.
Monoko, and
I also
fucking
did. Yeah.
Blew my mind. I had an Aerith moment where it's like, surely not, right? He is coming back, and like even at the end of Act 2, I was like, oh shit. She could just paint them back. Like, Gustav, give me fucking
like, she definitely just should have done it right there and then. Like,
and
it doesn't make any sense that she did.
Because they killed off. He was my main at that point. He was the only guy I upgraded any weapons for. He was the only guy I was just like actually equipping Luminas on. I was like, this is my carry. It's me and Gustav till the end of this fucking game. And then, bow! Fucking smoked him, and then they had the nerve to jump you right into Verso, and I'm like, oh, so now I'm just this guy now?
My biggest gripe with the entire game is that he should have came in at the very next dungeon, given like an hour or something with just the 3 characters
just
to let it sink in. Yeah. Because Verso's there immediately, I was like, well, he's just Gustav in disguise, like my mind was playing tricks on me to like deal with the
older
loss.
Gustav. Yeah, it killed me because I loved, and I think even now, like having played through the whole game, I prefer Gustav to Verso.
Back to when I do my inevitable second playthrough, I'm modding him back in. Like, that's how I'm playing.
Yeah,
I've seen people do that. I'm like, oh no, I want it.
Yeah.
So such a pity. Okay, but
it hits hard, right?
It does.
Like,
yeah, it was tough, and I was in, like I said, disbelief for a long time.
Because I kind of thought for a while, I was like, he won't be dead, but then you go and you bury his hand with
like,
the cherry tree.
Then and then you immediately fight the duelist. I'm like, oh god, what a fight! Like as well.
Yeah, that's when the game was still like kind of thrilling to me because, like I said, I had only upgrade, and at that moment I was like, well, I'm not upgrading anything anymore because
I could lose my character.
Yeah, there goes my guy.
But no, I assume because anything you had equipped to Gustav went to Verso, so
I
at least
for
that
though. I wasn't committing to that. I did leave Verso on my team.
Though,
what sucked though is that Gustav was the only character who actually had a gun. The rest just go pew pew with their hands.
Yes, yeah. Because
I was like, what are they firing?
I was building him as my shooter, and then once that happened, I just gave up on shooting. Unless they had
I needed the I did so much of that. Eventually, I could fire off 50 shots.
Your strat rake was
so good.
Was shooting. Yeah.
No, my end game, I had Monoko. And he was my carry for like a good chunk of the game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was my favorite.
Skill character.
I loved him as well, though. I really liked him.
I don't like because for me he's no moves. He's just.
I thought his moves were hilarious.
But he turns into like you're just basically seeing a mirror attack.
No. I understand that. But there's a strat involved in it, like his wheel, which would be like every time you use.
I loved his mechanic and how it worked. I just wish because even like I completed because you have to basically use all 5 characters to win the game. So I had to use
used
him.
Ciel, and I never used Loon again.
I
didn't have
Loon was
to.
amazing.
I know all
I just-
five intimately, and
I-
master strategies for all five, you know. And like Monaco grew on me because the way you could manipulate to push the wheel where you want, and use certain moves to move a 2 slot to reverse the way and stuff like that. And getting to Almighty form like as quick as possible was like very rewarding
See,
in itself.
Endgame, like I wasn't even paying attention to that because I was just so like he was equipped with auto death and a bunch of like death effects and like breaking death, and you just like start off the fight, die, explode everyone, then get risen, and then it would just be Verso finishing off the stun, and then Mael just killing him.
Yeah, and I was just so.
Did you
strong.
look up like best builds?
By the end, yeah.
So
By the end, yeah.
I can't do that, like, because then it's just someone who's just telling you
I
the
sweated
answer on
though.
a
That's
test.
the thing. Like, for
Like
the
you're
fir-
not doing anything.
the
You haven't
first-
beaten anything. You haven't done anything yourself.
No, the first 2 acts, I sweated. Like, I went through the entirety of the monolith. Like, Verso was only doing like 600 damage because I just wouldn't fucking upgrade anything.
You're like, screw
Yeah.
You're not my
Like-
Gustav.
like,
Yeah. My weapon,
And
I always
so
was like, I'm
I
going to
beat-
get a better weapon. So my weapons were never leveled up, and they were not doing much damage. Like, it always take me.
And
at
I never
least
used
6 turns to
Illumina.
beat a
I
bad
never
guy.
used an Illumina until I was just like, all right, let's grind out the rest of this fucking game.
Yeah.
Nice.
Never used a single Illumina.
Oh, I love Lumino is what kept me going. Anytime I got a new like pick though, I was like, oh, I'm gonna change everything, and I'd spend 2 hours
Oh,
in the
so
menu.
no, I would equip the ones that you could get like through leveling inherently, because every time you level, you get like a stat. But you know how you get
Yeah,
the little
yeah.
points and you can jack them up to like I don't even know the limits, but like you
Quite like,
fucking-
yeah.
Yeah.
I just never used that item. I used one to get the achievement, and then
That was
didn't
it.
use them until the
Uh,
endless tower, where I was just like, all right, let's
Like, yeah.
I only ever used the cheater perk because like every boss I was able to defeat, but then when it came to Simon, I was like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. So I was like, I allowed myself to have each character had 2 turns because I'd use it to buff myself the first turn
And then
to
it's like-
prepare for
Yeah,
his
it's
onslaught
so broken.
because he would just destroy me instantly.
Mal with cheater is just you just do the last stand and then just do like fucking Stendhal.
Yeah,
And I was doing like 60 million damage in like single hits. I was like, well,
I
She
think
was crazy.
I only ever cat like a cat maybe 6 or 7 million, but I liked it because I never did more than like 20% of anyone's health at any given time.
So you could enjoy
So I
the
was only
battles.
ever leveling up my characters if I died, you know. And then I was like, okay, they need to be stronger. So I
That's
was
right,
always weaker, you know, generally than the enemies because there's just when I went in my pick and because I did everything, I had so many pictos that I was like, if I equip that, nothing can touch me. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Like you know, glass cannons like extra 25% damage. I'm like, no way, I can't just have an extra 25% damage. That's way too much.
well, you take
like, you know?
25% more.
Yeah, I know, but if you're good at dodging or you have like an auto, then it doesn't matter. Like at
You're
all,
not gonna.
like, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I've got two parts that I want to bring up to you to get your thoughts on it. The first being the Paintress, which I think a lot of us haven't talked to lads. We thought that was the kind of end of the game.
That's my ending. That's my ending. That's my true ending there. Beat the Paintress. Everyone lived happily ever after.
But they didn't though.
I know, but that's
Oh, that's what you wanted to happen.
canonically in my head. That's what happened.
But I mean, like,
We get to paint our own worlds, all right, Darren? That's the world I'm living
So
in.
here's my tough question because I think that the group so far, because Niall is currently playing
I
the
am.
game as well.
I know what you're going to ask, and I sided with Verso.
Excellent,
100%,
excellent
yeah.
choice.
100%. What game are you playing? I was playing Expedition 33, not Expedition 0.
No, Verso. That was the better ending.
Yeah.
I felt. Yeah.
That's not what the question is.
No. My question was, which ending did he choose? And
Oh, you chose that.
Yeah.
But you think that's the correct ending as
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's no correct ending. But
well?
I
of course
think
there
it
is.
was
There's a
I
moral
think it
ending
was
and then
the-
there's a
the-
non-moral ending.
I think that was the moral ending.
yeah.
So you think everyone in the picture was just a fake thing that wasn't alive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She literally like even her. They even alluded pretty heavily to her choice being kind of a terrible idea. Like
Yeah.
in the final.
I know, but
cutscene.
just because music sets it up as evil and you see like a painted
Yeah.
kind of version of her,
They might as
you would
well
con-
have
you
came
would-
in with dun 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 and her doing the Dr. Evil. She's
Yeah, I know.
smiling there. She's sinister.
Okay, but that by itself doesn't mean okay. You're kind of like in the episode of The Simpsons where it's rock bottom and Homer's like, listen to the music, he's evil. Can you not
Are we-
judge it by what you're seeing
No,
and
so-
not because of like
so
just
here's-
this tiny
I mean,
musical
yes,
takeaway?
but
Her
we're
ending
talking
saved
about one of
billions
the
of
most
lives,
artistic
and one
games-
ended everything.
One of the most artistic games we've ever played. Like every choice they made was made with a lot of thought. And they put that discordant. I know we're all talking about the piano note, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The discordant. Dung. They put that there for a reason. They wanted to imply. And she was there, like her painted self. And literally, the world she lived in now wasn't the same. Like she brought everyone back to life, including people like like the kid that never should have survived. He's back. Even
Which
her,
kid? Sorry,
Ciel's.
was Ciel? Did Ciel have her kid there?
Isn't that who she walked in with?
Yeah, she walks in with her kid. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ciel's
and
back
she has
with the husband.
back with the husband.
Can't remember that.
Yeah.
one.
And like even like all their party members are wearing the exact same getup she is, like literally painted in her image.
Yeah.
Like everything about it. It is a girl.
They're
with-
not painting her big. Like
they're
Ciel and Lune exist outside of her, and even when she brought them back to life, their memories
not anymore.
and who they were
They have
before.
no control. They have no control anymore.
I do not think that
They
whatsoever.
do you think like they're going to grow old and die? She's never
Yes.
going to let it happen. No, they're dolls in a dollhouse.
But
man.
the paintress allowed everyone to grow older and die.
No.
She's not the paintress.
Wait, but this is the thing. The paintress, in terms of the story, like people got knocked off by an age thing coming down and down and down.
Mm-hmm.
The paintress, maybe.
But people lived and died before she fractured the world.
Potentially, yes, but that's
Like you're making a grand assumption
She's
on
not the
Maëlle.
paintress, though.
Okay, so basically,
or sorry, she's not Aline. She is a paintress
yes,
now.
yeah.
but Maëlle and Alicia were two different people, and Maëlle was very much a citizen of Lumiere. She has nothing to do with the outside world.
But she
Nothing
has
to do
all
with-
her memories
She has
back
all her
then.
memories, but it's like if you watched the show Severance. They're two different people.
Yes.
You have Alicia here, and you have Maëlle, who only knows Lumiere and lived and lost and felt heartbreak almost every day of her entire life. Is she not entitled to just a little bit of happiness for the people who were in that life with her, for those people who lost absolutely everything?
Okay, I would say yes, but think of the consequences, right? And I think
But the
there's-
consequence, okay, ultimately the consequence for, like, the whole story is built on Renoir is trying to get the paintress, his wife, out of the painting because it's doing irreparable damage to her.
Which is going to also happen to Maëlle.
In the ending, there's no irreparable damage done. She is totally okay. She's buried her son.
She's not okay, though.
No, but she's buried her son, and despite the fact that she spent 200 years in a video game, she's relatively okay. It's not like she's come out and she's fucking murdering people left, right, and center.
No, but I think what it did do in the ending when we saw just before you go in to make the decision, Verso sees the image of his mother who's just released from the painting, and she's got like what I would say like the painting.
I don't think that's the
poisoning.
mother. I think that's
No, that's the mother. It's Renoir showing. He's like, this is what I'm trying to stop, and he shows her having left the.
So she spent 200 years in a video game, comes out and is coughing a little and having a bit of a bad day, but ultimately she survives.
But that's no. So I mean, you're doing what you're doing there is you're taking it purely on by what we see. What the whole thing and what they're saying and what they're implying is she's incredibly unwell. What you're doing is you're judging.
No,
I've
but
seen her standing by a grave and she's
I'm
fine.
not saying Maëlle should spend 200 years in Lumiere. That's insane. But she should definitely spend a lifetime that Maëlle had earned, that Alicia owes that to Maëlle, because Maëlle has spent 17 years in absolute torment, and she deserves to spend her like remaining years in that world. And if it's 20 minutes for the people outside, let them have their fucking 20 minutes. It's nothing to the people outside.
But what about the people inside?
But the people inside, they shouldn't just be fucking Thanos snap. What if someone just appeared here and
Mal's
said,
not going to let
this
them
whole-
die, though. She's going to preserve them forever.
And it alludes to the fact that
she's
it's
going to be the next
like
like paintress, like
Gustav.
But you're basing that off like nothing.
No, I'm basing off this. Verso comes in to play the piano, and he is literally her puppet on a string.
He is. He wants to die, and she wouldn't allow him. But he's clearly older, so he's at least getting that.
But he doesn't want that. So you're saying, oh great, it's good, everyone gets to the vote, but it's like no, well, not everybody would want that, or she is making everybody's decision for them based on all that she wants. Whereas Verso, what he wanted was like, hang on, can we actually just live in the truth for a moment here? And this is all fake.
You can't contend billions of people to die just because you don't want to live anymore.
They're not real though.
You know, and Maëlle could end Verso's life, and they are real. They're more real than anyone else. Like.
But they're not. They're a creation of the paintress.
But the paintress created them 200 years ago. None of those people she created are in Lumiere right now. Not one. Not one single person. They are all children of the people of Lumiere and their children and their children. The world has a massive real history. And she is not part of any of their lives.
It's got a massive
Some
history,
god
but it's not
couldn't
real.
walk through the door and be like, hey guys, I created Earth 6 billion years ago. You know what? I think I'm done. Like, he doesn't have the right to end their lives. You're saying he does. I disagree. I think they
but none
have
of them
the
are
right
real.
to live.
Like, none of them are real. Because it's
You can surely leave the painting and be like, okay, the world maybe is paused the second someone leaves, it doesn't carry on. That's so be it. Put the painting up, but you have no right to destroy it or end the lives.
The other thing, the reason they're not real is because she painted them the way she wants. It's her decision.
If that were true, when she resurrected Ciel and Lune, they wouldn't have had the memories that Mael didn't know they already had. Only SK knew that Ciel swam out and that SK saved her and her child died and he brought her back. Mael did not know that information, and yet it happened after she repainted her.
I'm talking about Mael's recreation of them.
Yes, but that is what Ciel is. That's Act 3.
Yeah, but she's recreating her unborn child and giving her the memories that was always there. Like they're just simulation.
Do you not think Ciel probably was like, Mael, I know you can paint things into the world. Any chance you could do this?
I don't think they would have went with it.
But then
you can't just assume that didn't happen.
Then it's just the Matrix, man. It's just a simulation. It's not real. It's just a simulation. If you can get,
do you not think a god could grant a few gifts before it departs?
I don't believe there is a god.
She's going to live there.
Well, in this world,
with
there
her
is
dolls.
a god, and she is a god.
No,
she's
not a god. She's a paintress. This is a painting of the people around.
No, she essentially is a god. But yeah, a god living among people and just like, I like somebody goes out, like my loon always had the gestural haircut. She's like, don't like that anymore. And she just waves it and she just has a different one. Like they can't make their own choices.
The possibility is there that Mael could easily be turned to darkness.
But here's
start ruining
they
people's
alluded
lives.
to that though.
Yes, but everyone was dead anyway.
But here's the thing, right? And I think this
they should at least have this sentence of freedom.
This is the strongest sense as to why Versa was correct, because and again,
morally, is a boat wrong?
No. You can't. I don't think that at all. I don't think there's anything wrong with my decision whatsoever. And I say this is because this was.
I think the writers were right. Burn that fucking house down. Yeah. Do a better job next time. They're crazy.
But it was Verso. It was Verso's painting originally. It was a creation of his. It was the last remnant of. Let me don't. You've talked for ages. All right. You close your mouth over there, Craig. Right. He created that was his piece and the last living bit of his soul now that he's gone, right? And the fact that the mother went in and she just wanted to live in this world because it was the last thing that she had because she'd lost her son, so it's not the best way to deal with grief, but fine, so be it if that's how you want to go and do it. When they were in the painting and they found the piece of Verso's soul, so this is his work, his creation, what he brought into the world.
You're saying it's his soul, but it's just another living thing in the world.
We're talking about the fading child, right?
That is
his soul.
That's his soul. That's the last remnant of Verso, like the real Verso that exists. And the painted Verso goes over to the child and says, "Do you want to continue painting anymore?" And the child says no. Mm-hmm. And for me, that is enough.
So you would credit one life over the billion lives. You think that's more important? This fraction of a thing that exists in the world, you think that's more real than the people within it? I don't think that at all. I think you're
also dooming somebody to eternal hell.
But you doomed everyone Renoir killed was doomed to hell. They were doomed to anything. Like, their lives were just obliterated.
Just like wiped out like that. But
some of them died in horrible, dirty way. Like, it's not like, snapped her out. Some of them died horribly.
Most of them got snapped out. Like, do you know what I mean? The Gommage, most of them got snapped out. Most of the population of the entire unreal world.
The living had to carry on. It's not like they all went. The living had to deal with the consequences of that. Very real consequences.
Real Renoir had never killed anyone. That was the painted Renoir. He was the psychopath that was cutting off heads. The real one only gommaged.
Yeah, the real Renoir was just gommaging.
At the very, very end.
Yeah. But the
painted.
The whole end. Like, I had to watch video. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So was there 3 versions of everyone? Like,
no,
two.
Just two. But I think
Mael, she would have had the real outside version. And then Mael, and then
the outside version of Mael was Alicia, and when
that is her.
Yeah, but the redhead one. Well, who's the one in the painting? The black and white one.
That's the painted version of Mael.
But then who's the one you play as? There's 3 of them, right? Am I wrong?
So you play as a Mael who was born in the painting, but she is just Alicia sent into the painting itself.
Oh, so the one you saw in the real world. She wasn't still out in the real world?
No.
Okay.
Which is different to other people.
She went into the painting in a back. You saw it in the backstory where Clea sends her into the painting.
Yeah,
but
I didn't know like physical like body and soul was in the painting. I thought she just
she's standing outside the painting, but her mind has entered.
Clea was kind of cruel in that point as well, because I don't think Clea explained to her that like when you go in there you'll just be reborn.
But that wasn't
no, that wasn't supposed to happen.
The others. She got mixed up with some chroma or something.
Yeah, the paintress painted over her.
So yeah, this is what I love about the the I think the writers of the game have come out and said there's no true ending. It's down to everybody's thing.
No, the true ending is killing the paintress and everybody lives. They were all real all along.
But ultimately, I think we will get a sequel where. Because they alluded to it a lot. Clea said very specifically when she sends Mael into the painting, she was like, that was a very clever place to hide the painting. And I was like, that's not something that
Yeah,
she's
and
just
I
saying
do- I
as
do
a
think-
throwaway
I do
line.
think-
That has to have an importance. And to me, Maëlle has hidden Verso's painting inside her own painting.
Yeah.
That's where I think
Yeah,
she's placed
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And that means if we were to have another world of characters,
Maëlle's
we can go
is-
into
yeah.
the world of X. We can go into Lumiere from that world.
I mean,
And
if they do,
that opens up
if
a
they
lot.
do an actual sequel, Maëlle's, that is clearly the canon event, because unless they go back to painting again, which kind of just defeats the whole purpose
Well,
of
it could be
ending.
that they left, but it just didn't get burned down. That like they left the painting, they all left together, but Maëlle still hid the painting because she was like, "I'm not letting you destroy it." So you can have it's a mixture of both endings. It's like they did have the funeral.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
But
Yeah,
the whole
mhm.
when they fade
Yeah.
away, it's like that's more of a just for
Yeah.
our sake. The painting is safe and sound. It's kind of like she's saying goodbye because she's not going to see them for a very long time.
Yeah.
Maybe not forever, but the possibility's there
Yeah.
because the painting still exists, and none of the others are going to find it because Maëlle hid it within her own painting.
I tell you
I
what,
like that
if they
idea,
make
yeah.
another game and it's not Expedition 60, I'm gonna be pissed.
I don't think it'll
I ain't
be
playing
Claire
it.
Obscure, but they won't be Expedition anything. It'll be Claire Obscure,
Expedition
something
60.
something.
Did you
Yeah.
ever read that journal?
Which one was the 60
It was
one?
just the beef
The beef-
cakes.
the beef
Swim into the
There's the
monolith.
naked dudes. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's funny too, because one of the gestural beach things, you climb on a wall and you get to the top, and there's one of the grandists up there, and he's like, "Wow, I've only ever seen one other expedition do this," and they're like, "Oh yeah, who?" He's like, "I don't know, but they refused the reward. That's because it's a bathing suit, and they just refused to wear clothes."
Yeah.
I like the little humor that they had in it. So,
Oh my god, the gesturals.
Yeah.
The one that's just sitting in the fire, and he's like, "This is fine."
yeah, the
I
meme.
understood that reference.
Yeah, that was so good. That was so good. So yeah, I think it's all of ours game of the year probably.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
I think
Fantastic.
that's what I mean. I love a game that can cause
Bring
that
these kind of conversations,
that
these
debate.
arguments. You know,
Yeah,
like
so
man,
good.
I love it.
And it's interesting because our group so far is you and Kev took the Maëlle decision. Me, Luke, and Chris so far have taken the Verso.
And I think the
Niall,
three of you are murderous, and I'll never look at you the same.
but Niall is currently playing, and I'm very interested. Will he tie? Like, because if the 6 was playing, would he tie it off so it's 3v3, which I think would be excellent, or will he lean towards the other way? I'm so interested as to what he.
It's mad how
chooses.
you guys played a game for 90 hours. That the last hour you changed your mind.
I also always hated Maëlle. I didn't like her as a kid.
But it has nothing to do with her. Like it's free.
Well,
It's,
yeah.
it's Ciel's ending. It's Lune's ending. It's Gustav's ending.
I was
You know?
I
Do you
was
not
just
like those
picking.
characters?
Originally, I was picking the character that I'd rather see win. So picked Verso.
and for me, mine was decision.
But
where I
and
was
then
like,
I went back and watched hers, and I was like, "Oh, hers just they set it up to be like more evil."
They
enemy.
do, but that doesn't mean just because the music is playing that way doesn't mean it. Like they're like, okay, this could turn bad, but that doesn't mean it is.
we could talk about this for hours, but I have to end this
You
podcast.
didn't give us enough time. This is all on you, Darren.
We've already done an episode on this game. All right, we'll leave it there. We're going to do a post show of what I don't know yet. We'll figure that out. But Chris, thank you so much for hopping on.
No problem.
Craig, thank you so much for hopping on. This has been
Anytime.
excellent. And also, if you are keen to listen on YouTube or watch the videos, we have almost uploaded all the episodes there at youtube.com/@giftofgaming, and check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thegiftofgaming for excellent extra content, all for less than the cost of a coffee a month. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. I love the chats. They're always good. And to our listeners, as always and forever, keep enjoying the gift that is gaming. Peace out.